Architecture is often a reflection of creativity and innovation, but sometimes it takes a bizarre turn. From peculiar shapes to unconventional designs, there are buildings and structures around the world that defy convention and push the boundaries of what's possible. So for today's video, we're going to count down the top 15 weirdest structures and buildings in the world. Number 15. Museum of the Future, Dubai. Leave it to Dubai to design one of the weirdest structures around. Dubai is, after all, home to some of the most creative and innovative buildings, attractions, and concepts around, like the innovative man-made Palm Islands or the skyscraping Burj Khalifa building. So it should come as no surprise that Dubai is featured on a list of strange structures. Welcome to the Museum of the Future, a museum that doesn't just boast a very unusual design, but one that also features a very unusual theme. The museum explores and showcases all things futuristic, including cutting-edge technologies and trends. The Museum of the Future was designed by the architectural firm Killa Design. The building, if you can call it that, is 253 feet high and is covered in stainless steel plates with intricate geometric patterns on them. Inside the building, it boasts more than 320,000 square feet of space and is decked out with some of the most advanced technology around. There are interactive displays, immersive experiences, and augmented reality featuring robotics, smart cities, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. Through this technology and themes, visitors can embark on an insightful journey into the future. The museum also has classrooms, event spaces, labs, and exhibition spaces, and the museums become a hub for innovators, researchers, and scientists to experiment and collaborate. The Museum of the Future is open to everyone, and it aims to educate and inspire people through workshops, displays, events, competition, conferences, and of course, exhibits. Number 14. The Basket Building, Newark, Ohio. This weird building is officially known as the Longaberger headquarters, but is more widely known as the Basket Building. And one look at this unusual structure and you can clearly see where the name comes from. The building is located in Newark, Ohio in the US, and it stands proud in all its glory at 7 stories high. Replicating a massive picnic basket, the building has a height of roughly 192 feet and was built in 1992 to reflect the main product of the Longaberger Company, which is, you guessed it, baskets. In this case, the company's founder asked architects to design a building that looks exactly like their best-selling product, the medium market basket. Although there is nothing medium about this supersized basket building. The building has 180,000 square feet of space, and the giant handles are made of steel. The interior features an atrium with a skylight for some natural light. The building is an example of a novelty architecture, which looks cool but can be hard to resell. So when the company ran into financial difficulties, finding a buyer for a basket-themed building was no easy task. They managed to find a buyer though. A man named Steve Kuhn purchased the odd building for $1.2 million with the hopes of turning it into a luxury hotel. However, to date, those dreams haven't really come to fruition, and what exactly will become of the massive Newark Basket Building is still up in the air. After all, there are only so many uses for a supersized basket-themed building, unless you're a giant, I guess. Number 13. Atomium, Brussels, Belgium. For those who like a little side of science with their buildings, then the Atomium is right up their alley. This weird building is located in Brussels, Belgium, and although it has a futuristic feel, it was actually originally constructed in 1958. The Atomium was built for the Brussels World Fair, or also known as the Expo 58. It was designed to showcase Belgium's post-World War II technological advances. The building was designed by the Belgian engineer André Waterkeen and architects André and Jean Pollack. So what is this building supposed to be? Well, it's supposed to replicate an iron crystal magnified 165 billion times. All in, the Atomium stands at a height of 335 feet and features 9 interconnected spheres. Architecturally, the spheres represent the 9 atoms in the crystal's unit cell, but inside the building, each of the 9 spheres serves a different function. For example, one of the spheres houses an exhibition called Atomium, Symbols and Emblems, where visitors can learn more about the significance of the building. Visitors can traverse the spheres by way of escalators, and in the center sphere, visitors can revel in a panoramic view of Brussels by taking an elevator all the way to the top. They can also dine at the Atomium restaurant and enjoy a meal that comes with some pretty stellar views. The building is comprised of stainless steel-clad aluminum panels, which is where the building's reflective appearance comes from. Now, needless to say, this weird building is one of the most recognizable landmarks in Brussels, and millions of visitors flock to the Atomium every year to see this building for themselves. Number 12. Museum of Contemporary Art, Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Why not build this spaceship on the side of a cliff and call it a museum? Well, perhaps that was the thought process behind the inception for the next weird structure in this video. There's no arguing that the Museum of Contemporary Art looks a lot like a flying saucer, although why isn't exactly clear. Nevertheless, the building is located in Niterói, which, for those of you not familiar with Brazilian geography, is a city near Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The building was designed by Oscar Niemeyer, and it opened its doors in 1996. Visitors can access the building by way of a red and winding path. The building overlooks Guanabara Bay, so in addition to the plethora of things to see inside the building, there's also some pretty breathtaking views here too. The exhibition area of the museum is 3 floors, and given the museum's name, there's a space dedicated solely to the contemporary art display. The MAC collection focuses on contemporary art from Brazil and showcases paintings, installations, multimedia artworks, and sculptures by some of Brazil's most prominent artists. In addition to the MAC collection, the Museum of Contemporary Art also showcases international and national contemporary art through its many temporary exhibitions, as well as workshops and educational programs. Number 11. Kansas City Library, Missouri, United States. Bibliophiles will rejoice in this next weird structure because it takes book loving to an epic level. The building's located in Kansas City, Missouri, and is the main public library for the city. The exterior design resembles a collection of supersized books, and as such, this building's caught the eye of many architects from all over the world. The building was designed by the architectural firm of Helmut John and was completed in 2004. This unique building has 10 stories and covers an impressive 142,000 square feet. The building incorporates both steel and glass and offers an appealing, albeit strange aesthetic to the surrounding area. The spines of the books have different titles on them as a nod to various famous works. The goal was to feature a diverse range of books, so both contemporary and classic books are represented here. The titles that appear on these massive spines were actually chosen by Kansas City residents through a public vote. Inside the building is everything you'd expect to find in a library, including magazines, multimedia materials, digital resources, and, of course, books. This library is a hub for the community, offering a wide assortment of community events and programs. There's also a dedicated space within the library for both teens and children. This library also has a commitment to public art and features various sculptures, murals, and art installations. So the building isn't just fun to look at from the outside. There's also a lot of fun things going on to explore within this bizarre book lovers building. Number 10. Casa de Musica, Porto, Portugal. At first glance, Casa de Musica looks like a giant cement block with some oddly placed windows. Alright, it looks like that at second glance too, but this weird structure is an architecturally renowned work of art according to some sources. The building was designed by a Dutch architect named Rem Koolhaas, and since its completion in 2005, the building's been revered. The name Casa de Musica translates to House of Music, which is fitting since the building's a concert hall. The unconventional architecture is characterized by the building's angular lines and large asymmetrical windows. The objective behind the Casa de Musica was to stand out in contrast to the surrounding traditional buildings, and yes, suffice to say, that objective was clearly met. Inside the building are 2 main concert halls, the Sala Sugia and the Sala 2. The Sala Sugia is the larger of the 2 with an audience capacity of about 1,200 people. It's mostly used for orchestral and symphonic performances, whereas the second hall, the Sala 2, is a more intimate space, better suited for experimental performances and chamber music. The building is located in Porto in Portugal and is the concert hall for the Porto National Orchestra, but it also hosts a wide range of both contemporary and classical musical performances. The concert halls aren't the rooms in the building though, they are rehearsal rooms, a music shop, recording studios, a restaurant, and even a rooftop terrace with a stunning panoramic view of Porto. Since its completion, the Casa de Musica has become a symbol of Porto's commitment to the arts and continues to contribute to the vibrant cultural scene of the city. Number 9. Biblioteca Alexandrina, Egypt. The Biblioteca Alexandrina is located in Alexandria, Egypt, and it's a nod to the Library of Alexandria, which is one of the most renowned libraries of the ancient world. If the structure looks strange to you, it might be because you're accustomed to something a little more modern. This structure is meant to pay homage to a building that was constructed in the 3rd century BCE. The original library was a center for scholarship and knowledge, both of which are still staples in the more modern version of this building. The Biblioteca Alexandrina was designed by Snohetta, a Norwegian architectural firm. The building is circular and features an odd tiled roof. This building is meant to represent a discus and the sun. The facade of the building is covered in granite panels, and the panels are engraved with characters from several different languages around the world. Inside, the building has not just one, but 3 libraries: the Arts and Multimedia Library, the Main Library, and the Taha Hussein Library, which is for the visually impaired. There's also the Alexandria and Mediterranean Research Center, as well as art galleries, conference rooms, and exhibition spaces. The Biblioteca Alexandrina is also home to the Digital Assets Repository, which is a place dedicated to storing and preserving digital content related to Egyptian heritage. All in, the complex covers just over 480,000 square feet of space and is a busy educational hub for Alexandrians. Number 8. The Crooked House, Sopot, Poland. The Crooked House is an example of what happens when you take fairy tale illustrations and try to bring them to life. The house was inspired by the illustrations of Jan Marcin Schanscher and the drawings of Swedish artist Per Dahlberg. The building was designed by Polish architects Sotinski and Zaleski, and the weird structure was completed in 2004. Since its completion, the Crooked House has been the talk of the town in Sopot because of its warped windows, undulating walls, and sloping roofline. The building's part of the Rezdient shopping center, and this structure is comprised of concrete and steel with plaster and resin facade. It's a tourist draw and is widely photographed. Inside, there are 4 floors with shops, offices, and restaurants for locals and tourists alike. Furthermore, the Crooked House is located on a popular pedestrian promenade called Montecassino Street. This street boasts a vibrant atmosphere and is lined with entertainment venues, shops, and cute cafes. So, the building doesn't actually seem that out of place when seen in context of the area. In fact, the Crooked House adds to the whimsy of the area and has demanded the attention of architects from all over the world. The Crooked House is widely regarded as one of the most unusual buildings in the world. The curvy, whimsical, bizarre structure is truly one of a kind. Number 7. Kunsthaus, Graz, Austria. Is it a structure? Is it a building? Is it a blob? When first you take a look at Kunsthaus, it can be hard to know what exactly you're looking at. But rest assured, this strange and otherworldly structure is in fact a building. The Kunsthaus is located in Graz, Austria, and was designed by British architects Peter Cook and Colin Fournier. The building has a biomorphic shape, made even stranger by the fact that the building is covered in a blue acrylic skin. This, combined with its bubble-like protrusions, has earned Kunsthaus the nickname Friendly Alien. So, what could this friendly extraterrestrial building possibly be for? Well, of course, it's a museum, and a big one at that. Kunsthaus covers just over 43,000 square feet, and it's full of galleries, contemporary art exhibitions, multimedia artworks, installations, and temporary shows. And while there's plenty to see inside this unusual museum, there's lots to see outside too. The museum has a unique media facade, which is known as the Bix facade. It's comprised of thousands of LED lights. The lights are embedded right into that blue acrylic skin, and they can be programmed to display vibrant and dynamic visual artworks, interactive media, and even text messages. So while a walk through this building will offer up some pretty incredible art viewing, sitting outside the building and watching the surface of the blob explode with LED lights is pretty cool too. In any case, Kunsthaus has been widely revered for its bold and unique architecture, and has probably inspired the odd sci-fi writer too, here and there. Number 6. Tianshui Hotel, Hebei Province, China. If you've ever dreamed of hunkering down inside of a hotel room in a giant, smiling Chinese man, then you're going to be pleased to know that you're in luck. That is, if you can make your way over to the Hebei Province in China. The Tianshui Hotel features 3 gigantic statues, each of whom depict a famous Chinese historical figure. The first figure, Fu, represents the Chinese god of happiness. The second one, Lu, represents the deity of prosperity and wealth. And the third one, Shou, represents the god of longevity. Combined, these statues have pretty much everything you could want from in life fully covered. The statues are 105 feet tall, and they're integrated right into the hotel's structure. And while the thought of staying in a hotel fronted by 3 giant Chinese men might seem a little odd to Westerners, these 3 figures are not meant to creep anyone out. They're meant to bring positive energy and blessings for all that stay in the hotel. The hotel itself is not as massive as those supersized structures would have you believe. The hotel only has 10 floors and about 270 rooms. There's standard rooms, business suites, and presidential suites, as well as other standard hotel fares, like conference rooms, fitness center, and a revolving restaurant with excellent views. The hotel is a popular tourist attraction, and due to its weird architecture, it draws in quite a few visitors, although it's hard to say if they're seeking the blessings of the oversized statues or the novelty of staying in this weird hotel. Number 5. Bubble Palace, France. The official name of this weird structure is Palais Boules, but in English, we just call it the Bubble Palace. And one look at this bizarre architectural design, and it's not hard to see where that name came from. The building is the architectural masterpiece of Hungarian architect Attila Vag, and the building was completed in 1989. Believe it or not, the Bubble Palace was designed as a private residence and sprawling one at that. The structure covers over 12,900 square feet, and the entire structure was designed to merge seamlessly with the surrounding landscape. As such, the palace doesn't have any sharp angles or straight lines. Instead, the shapes are all organic and, well, bubbly. The Bubble Palace is set in the picturesque French Riviera in Théoul-sur-Mer, near Cannes, and it's set on a hilltop with a stunning view of the Mediterranean Sea. These bubbles are interconnected, and the complex has open terraces to allow visitors to immerse themselves in the iconic natural beauty of this area. There are 10 bedroom suites, all unique, as well as several living areas. There's also a grand reception hall, an outdoor amphitheater, and for those hot French Riviera summers, there's an expansive swimming pool. The palace was decorated with luxury in mind, and it has mosaic tiles and vibrant colors throughout. The unusual architecture and the luxury of the palace has attracted world-famous celebrities and artists alike, as it's hosted some pretty extravagant parties and events, and is a sought-after location in the French Riviera. Number 4. The Fish Building, Hyderabad, India. For anyone who's tried to find an office building in a concrete jungle, then you'll know all too well the frustration. This next building takes the guesswork out of any directions. Need to find the National Fisheries Development Board office building in Hyderabad? Just look for the giant fish. You literally can't miss it. In fact, its address, according to Google, is simply the Fish Building. The Fish Building is a 4-story regional office that first opened in April of 2012. The design for the building was inspired by Frank Gehry's fish sculpture in Barcelona, and the building is the regional office for the National Fisheries Development Board. And although the building is kind of fun to look at, its design is actually pretty practical. For example, the left pectoral fin doubles as an awning above the entrance staircase, and those giant eyes, they act as 2 circular windows. The building is covered in stainless steel panels, and most of the building is completely raised off the ground, save for its central core. But wait, there's more, because at night, the building has blue spotlights illuminate it, making it seem as though there's a massive fish swimming its way through Hyderabad. The building was designed by the Central Public Works Department of India, and this building is the perfect example of mimetic architecture. Now, for those of us who are not familiar with the term mimetic architecture, it simply means a structure built in a form that mimics its function. This type of architecture became popular in the mid-20th century in the United States when roadside restaurants began to take the shape of whatever they were selling. Giant coffee cup structures, oversized donuts, hot dog stands shaped like actual hot dogs, etc. It was originally used as a form of direct marketing, but has since been used for other purposes. In the case of the Fish Building, though, the shape of the building mimics what the building is for, all things fishy. Number 3. Habitat 67, Montreal. Popular opinion is kinda split on this next weird structure. Some think it's an ingenious, forward-thinking housing solution. Others, not so much. But regardless of how the structure is perceived, there's no arguing that Habitat 67 is strange. The structure is located in Montreal, Canada, and actually serves as a housing complex. The building was designed in 1967 by Moshe Safdie. He designed the Habitat 67 as part of his master thesis project for the 1967 World Expo, which was held in Montreal. The structure is comprised of a series of stacked modular concrete units that create a combination of individual residences and communal spaces. So while it might look like a life-size happenstance block building project created by a primary school student during playtime, this complex is actually revered for its innovative and groundbreaking design. The way the units are arranged affords a series of gardens and pathways and terraces, all in turn gives a complex sense of shared living space and community. The units themselves are prefabricated and they were built off-site, then they were connected and stacked on-site. All in, there are 354 housing units, and they range in size from anywhere from 1 bedroom to 4. There's also a wide variety of floor plans available, so although Habitat 67 is designed as a communal space, the units themselves offer residents options and a sense of individuality. The building was designed in response to urban housing challenges. Habitat 67 was meant to offer high-quality but affordable living in a dense urban setting. That architectural design is called brutalist architecture, characterized by its geometric forms, functionality, and exposed concrete. Habitat 67 has been recognized by the Quebec government as a heritage site, and it attracts tourists from all over the world. In fact, Habitat 67 has garnered so much attention that it's been called an architectural icon. Number 2. WonderWorks, various locations across the United States. There are 9 different WonderWorks buildings in the US, and although they offer different experiences, once visitors step foot inside, from the outside, they all have one thing in common: their design is weird. They're all buildings that have been turned upside down, which creates an easily recognizable and unique appearance. The buildings were designed by an engineering firm who specializes in creative, immersive, and interactive themed attractions. The firm is called the Weber Group, and it's based in Orlando, Florida, where WonderWorks Orlando is located. The WonderWorks Orlando is a building meant to look like a building that's been uprooted by a storm, although all the buildings look like they've been lifted by a tornado and put back upside down. The buildings are whimsical and hint at the many fun and interactive attractions that await visitors inside. For example, the WonderWorks in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee features indoor rope courses, a zip-line adventure, and more than 1,000 interactive exhibits, complete with a hurricane simulation and a massive light-bright wall. The location of WonderWorks Panama City Beach in Florida offers visitors sweeping views of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's an iconic landmark along the Panama City Beach coastline. Inside this WonderWorks, visitors can experience the Bubble Lab exhibit, where they can play with a wide assortment of bubbles. The Myrtle Beach WonderWorks building has an erupting volcano on top of it, and inside it boasts a virtual roller coaster and an interactive sandbox. WonderWorks Syracuse is actually built from a former movie theater, and it's known for its architectural charm, as well as for its array of virtual reality-themed rides. For those who want to learn more about space, the WonderWorks in Branson features a space discovery zone, and for anyone who wants to experience an earthquake, the WonderWorks Gatlinburg, Texas offers visitors a realistic earthquake simulator. The WonderWorks buildings, they were clearly designed with fun in mind, and although the exterior might look a little weird, to say the least, when you learn about the wide assortment of actual attractions inside the buildings, well, the design sort of makes sense. Number 1. The Dynamic Tower, a concept building by Dr. David Fisher. While the final building in this video have yet to see the actual light of day, they still warrant some pretty serious attention. Why? Well, because the concept behind Dr. David Fisher's dynamic architecture is unlike anything the world's ever seen. Basically, the idea is that the buildings can continually change shape by rotating. But it's not the entire building that rotates as one. Each floor or module has the potential to rotate independently. This means that the residents or employees, depending on what the building is being used for, will have the ability to customize their living or workspace. Don't like the view? Then change it. Want to see the sun rise while you make coffee in your kitchen and then watch it set while you make dinner? Not a problem. Simply rotate your entire apartment. The design for Dr. David Fisher's most famous tower to date, called Dynamic Tower, has garnered a ton of attention. The tower is comprised of pre-assembled floors that can rotate a full 360 degrees, and the rotation isn't just for those who tire of the same view. The concept was created with sustainability and energy efficiency in mind. These designs incorporate renewable energy sources such as wind by installing wind turbines between each rotating floor. The turbines can generate electricity to power the building, so the concept of dynamic architecture isn't just about creating customizable views, it's also about creating clean energy sources. The building is still in the concept stages and has gone through several different proposed construction dates, but pictures of this crazy turning tower with individually rotating floors has earned the dynamic architecture and the dynamic tower the top spot on this list of 15 weird structures and buildings. I'll see you next time. Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge. The Top 5 show has launched channel memberships. Thank you to our channel members.